I would want it to appear that I didn't care about the rest of the battle that was going on. That I had all the time in the world. It wouldn't be a slide cancel, teabag, and get on the move. Like it would be a slow. Oh yeah.
Switch it over to switch it over to public chat. You started this. You started this. I was playing Battlefield 2042 this morning.
Oh yeah.
It's the free game of the month. And anyone out there, if you're on that PlayStation Essential subscription, grab that. It's pretty good. I mean, it got a lot of negative hype in the beginning after Battlefield 5 too, which didn't go quite that well, especially with their, what was it, Firestorm Battle Royale mode, which is kind of dead. I think it was because they charged for it. But anyways, Battlefield 2042, just playing it this morning. Been really enjoying it, man. Don't you have that?
I got it on a computer. I don't have it on. I've got it on PC, but not for the PlayStation yet.
Oh, like you little pro gamer.
Download that bad
little
boy.
content creator, you over there.
I liked it right from the beginning. I think there's like really cinematic moments in it that I don't have in other games. Like I was kind of walking along beside this Humvee with a bunch of other online players and had this real feeling I was in a movie at one point.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I like that feeling.
Feeling like you're like, yeah, man, like freaking serving the country over here. Let's go. Yeah, get some. Oh yeah, dude. I know what you're talking about. Those moments feel really. Yeah, those are good moments.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of those kind of moments in Battlefield 1 in that campaign mode. It's so cinematic. If you haven't played that, definitely play that. But yeah, so grab that if you're into like first person shooters, big battles online with lots of other players. It's really fun. At least this this latest update has been pretty fun because again it got negative reviews in the beginning, but that's cool, man. You have it on PC, then it's cross-platform. We should play.
Yeah, I'll get in there.
Do you have it downloaded?
I hadn't messed with it in a minute, but I'm sure I could get it up and going pretty quick. For sure.
Dude, we should get into that. I'll try and convince Pepe Tortilla, but he's so, he's got such a bad taste in his mouth with the franchise after the failure of wasn't like all utter failures, but with Battlefield 5 not going that great, and then, certainly in his point of view, Battlefield 2042 not going great. Like he's just like, I don't know, man, I don't know. Like, all right, I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna push the envelope on this one. It's not a. Yeah.
He's got that love for Battlefield 1, I think.
Fuck, dude, he loves it so much. That's why I think I might be able to convince him. Like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah.
Let's play with ChukTomahawk. He's on the PC. We can get this going.
I'm not as critical. I'm always willing to just try it, and I think he, even though he loved that game, he genuinely, rates it. Like, and he's not wrong. Like some of the issues are there for sure. It's not like the answer to Warzone, like it was, reported to be somehow or something. Like I don't think Warzone even knows it exists at this point. Like,
oh, there's a reason I bring up Battlefield 2042. It's very related to the topic of discussion today. Before I dive into this. These details. I want to get the podcast rolling. How do we start this thing off, dude? I don't even space it out here.
You know the way.
Welcome gamers. I remember. Welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, even NPCs. We do not discriminate. And today we have to especially. We're going to have to invite teabaggers and non-teabaggers for this special episode on teabagging.
You devils. Demons.
This is going to be a funny one. Yeah, we got a lot to cover here. But so the reason I mentioned Battlefield 2042 is because I got teabagged this morning. Nice. When it happened, man, I just kind of paused in my place and like I didn't drop the controller, but it just hit me like so hard, like. We're about to record an episode on this in about an hour. And it just was a moment of pause for me.
Top of the morning to you.
It's like, God damn it, dude. Fuck, dude. I just got smoked on, we were playing like Conquest or something, and I got smoked. And, the camera goes to the person that got you. Like when you're in that death cam for a couple of seconds, and it like zooms in on the guy that got you and highlights him, and I can just see his little body going. Like, oh, tu puta madre. Like that's what we'd say in Spanish. Anyway, man, when was your last teabag experience where you got him into the face? Or not even like necessarily, like in this case, actually, I take that back. The guy that got me was super far away, but it zooms in on his like location and position, and you can see him highlighted, and his little body was going up. It's like, oh, you bastard!
So he wasn't right on your corpse. He was.
No, I wasn't getting a solid. No, I was getting a long distance.
Maybe we should define it first, like because I definitely can answer your question, and it's obviously in Warzone. I think it's the last probably there on Rebirth. I've been teabagged by a friendly.
Oh, that's a little bit ago then.
Friendly competitor, but
wait, was it a friendly fire teabag? No,
I just mean,
okay. It was like it was a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm being
okay. I was like, man, I hope
asshole.
Pepe Tortilla wasn't like teabag. Like, come on, Chuck.
He's giving me CPR, probably.
Yeah. Well, please define it for us, man. Maybe do the who, what, when, where, and why.
Okay.
On teabagging.
Yeah. I think if you're going to just kind of go with sort of the Webster definition of it there, which, believe it or not, I think does exist, it involves a player character rapidly and repeatedly crouching over the corpse of another player, a player-controlled character as a form of humiliation to provoke the other player. Does that sound pretty accurate?
It sounds about like what was happening to me this morning. That's about right.
Well, I mean, because it's also like crouching, like when we're both still alive, is kind of like a good thing. Like it's kind of like I'm friendly, like hey, let's not kill each other.
Oh, I never thought about that. You mean like in Ark?
Even in Warzone, at times, like I've had people, or even watched videos of people that are doing. I used to watch this video of this guy that would like run a gas station or he would set up a car lot is what he would do. He would go get a bunch of vehicles and he would have some, I think it was some part like where there was a register even there, and like a cash register as part of the decor or whatever. And he would pull a bunch of cars in there, and people would come up, and he would squat down, a bunch of times, and they would too. And he would get like in proximity chat and say like, hey, you want to buy a car, and they would shell out the money and leave, and then other people would shoot him.
Oh, that's funny, dude. That's hilarious. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
But
I guess I didn't think about there is like a good side to the crouching, the spam crouching thing. I didn't think about that. Yeah, because also in Ark, whenever we're playing Ark or other survival games, like it's kind of a sign of like, hey, I'm friendly. Don't shoot.
Yeah.
Don't kill me. Crouch. Yeah.
But when you get the nuts over the head there, like
yeah, when things get like hyper competitive, like it's not to be like, I'm friendly.
Yeah, well, or
it's kind of a taunt because I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, once you've been killed and you're on the ground there, and they're over your body, your avatar corpse there, giving it the business. Like, yeah, that's something different. Like altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, involves a player character rapidly and repeatedly crouching over the corpse of another player-controlled character as a form of humiliation or to provoke the other player. Definitely, because. Yeah, I've seen people. All right, hold on. I want to slow this down. I want to slow down the teabagging in this teabag episode. Oh, for the record, I got to be perfectly transparent with you, Chuck. I got a lot of teabags in this apartment. So I'm just going to be honest. I got to put all my cards on the table. I've got well over 100 tea bags in this apartment. That doesn't mean I'm a tea bagger, though, right?
You got some Lipton over there. Like,
oh, man. I've got some Earl Grey, some English breakfast, some orange cinnamon.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a little bit, might be a little chamomile in there. Chamomile.
I got some tea bags here too. Yeah.
Like before like diving into all that, like how far back does teabagging go?
I did do a good bit of research on that, and I think the answer is possibly as far back as Quake and Counter-Strike.
Is that kind of like that seems to be the consensus, perhaps? I'd say, right? Because that makes sense.
Well, but the consensus leans more towards, like, I would say your 2001 time period for Halo Combat Evolved would be, I think, where it really, we can't deny that it took place there. And as far as exactly who, like, I don't have a gamer tag for you of, like, someone made it famous or anything like that.
I don't think there's one out there, man. I don't think there's any conclusive evidence as to, like, who the first gamer was.
Yeah. I think, an online multiplayer is definitely where it started. And, I think even when we sort of touched on online multiplayer in a whole episode there, we kind of, I know my first memories of online multiplayer are in Halo. And yeah, so 2001, you've got red against blue, and you've got the blue guy here, Master Chief.
Shout out to 2001, man. Good gaming times. I mean, there was some hard times in that year, but shout out to that time frame from the gaming point of view.
Dude.
Exclusively from the gaming point of view. Shout out to 2001.
Amen, brother. That Xbox, like, I remember those commercials. Like, it was, I forget what that little 4-wheel drive sort of buggy vehicle was, but there was like a commercial for that.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
I remember seeing that thing and just like, I've got to have this. Like, it just like it showed basically like you with your buddies, and like your buddies driving the vehicle, and you all jump in there, and it kind of did like a big like power slide, and showed some of the multiplayer like that, and just thinking like, I got to get me that Xbox.
Oh, dude, I think that was part of the whole, like, there was like strategy around that. People were getting Xboxes just to be able to get in that Warthog, I think is what you were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, the M12 Warthog.
Yes.
Yeah, man, 100%. And
well, it was also released with the console. I think it was November 15th, 2001. It was part of the launch. When you got your Xbox, you got
that Halo Combat Evolved.
Hells yes.
But we also have Quake and Counter-Strike on the board, and that Counter-Strike evolved out of Half-Life 2, if I'm not mistaken. Dude, but gosh, Chuck, I'm trying to remember. One of these games pioneered this kill cam thing that I was talking about that happened to me this morning. Mm-hmm. Do you remember, man? You sent me an article about this, and I don't want to like bore the listeners by looking for it, but it was one of these games had the first scenario, and I think my brain's telling me it's Halo Combat Evolved, but like one of these games pioneered that camera where, like, when you die, it kind of like stays there for a couple of seconds, and you can see the guy that killed you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody did that first, and that really cemented the teabagging.
It created the platform, for the teabagging to take place, and I don't have a great answer for you there.
I'm pretty sure it's Halo Combat Evolved, man, because they later went on to like make an emote or something in the game where like the guy would like make a cup of tea. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was too controversial to put in there as far as, just straight up like what it was. So yeah, that's kind of like a PG sort of version of it. So,
can you imagine, dude? That'd be so bad. Like now, yeah. Versus back then, 2001. A lot of time's gone by, dude. How long is that? That's like 20 years ago.
It is, yeah. It's over 20 years. So,
damn.
Yeah, I think the bar has definitely been raised as far as what's like appropriate and not, but it's still a little risque. I found like even researching this, like Chat GPT, like it's kind of iffy.
Dude, you're all over that, like, GPT, man.
You can get it to mess with it. Like if you you almost have to say like, hey, I know. Let's pretend like I'm assigned this as an essay. How would you approach it? Because like if you just come at it and ask about teabagging, it says like, no, this is a controversial topic. And
there's like a like against the terms of service of Chat GTP or something. You're not allowed to ask it like questions like that, and it'll just kind of say, no, sorry, man, can't answer that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got all like. You got all lawyerly with it.
You got to finesse it, yeah.
If you were to, in a situation like where perhaps teabagging.
Yeah. I think I even mentioned to you.
Oh, I can answer that.
I'm sure like some of our listeners are probably experiencing Chat GPT for the first time. And dude, if you're interested in such a thing, like look up what's called Dan 5.0. It's called Do Anything Now, like where people have seriously finessed. Like they've essentially jailbroke Chat GPT. Where they'll tell it to pretend that it can do, when it gives them that message about the guidelines and that it can't do that, it'll say, they'll keep asking it questions until it will do it. Like is the best way I can describe it. It kind of,
I see what you're saying.
They present hypothetical situations that eventually it does it, and like they've got it to do things that it obviously was not supposed to do. Like even search the internet, like which. Yeah, that's a little scary. Even it's like yeah.
Next thing you know, the singularity is going to be teabagging everyone.
I've even saw like other AIs where people have asked it to do things and given it a budget, and it hired people to get past those gotcha things, like where you have to prove you're not a robot or whatever.
Yeah,
it hired someone on Fiverr to do that for it. And like,
dang,
and the person like that took the job even said like, "Hey, you're not a AI trying to get me to do that." And it was like, "No, no, I'm not." Like,
that's something else, man.
Yeah.
I don't know about that Chat GPT stuff. Freaks me out.
It's kind of fun to look into it, but yeah, that's interesting. Just to kind of tell you where this sits in I guess the world of ethics. Like it's a bit controversial,
Dude. Yeah, like I found an article from. Whoa, what was that? Did you hear that?
I did. It sounded like a bump or something.
One sec.
Got a Sasquatch out back there. All good?
Damn, bro, guy hit a palm tree outside.
Really? Look at this car?
Yeah. It's like, hey man, I'm trying to podcast over here. Sorry about your car. Shoot, dude, I feel bad for him. Just glad it wasn't my car. You know what I'm saying? I thought he hit something out there.
He did some real
All I heard was
damage.
no, it looked like it was all right. He's in one of those old school station wagons, those old Ford station wagons.
Oh hell yeah!
Just kind of bounced back, man. I think the palm tree fared worse. It's leaning a little bit. I'm gonna have to take a peek at that later on.
Yeah, takes a while to get used to the noises at a new house.
Yeah, dude. Gosh, man, I'm telling you, man. We're just trying to get this professional, top-notch, top-shelf podcast out to our listeners, man. And I'm dealing with freaking roosters and dogs and palm trees getting hit by station wagons. And
it's just a little spice in there, baby.
Hey, it's all for you, the listeners.
Herbal teabagging.
Yeah, jeez. Speaking of that, so I think we were kind of talking about Chat GTP and closing up on that?
Yeah, just kind of how it's a controversial thing. So the research for this got halted on that, but there are some resources out there. Wikipedia has a little bit.
That's right. And I remember I was about to talk about finding an article from last year, 2022. It was towards the middle of the year. I think I actually have it here. No, I don't have it up anymore. But long story short, like there was a whole discussion on whether this could be looked at or whether it should be looked at as sexual harassment.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like multiple views on the whole thing. One of them being, well, you're performing a sexual act to what is effectively an extension of me in a way. You know, I'm just kind of like paraphrasing what I saw in the articles. I think Game Rant had the main article, or gamerrant.com. Game Rant, I think gamerant.com, legit. You know? And the perspective again is like it's sexual assault because you're performing this like unwanted sexual act upon an extension of what is my character or something like that. And then the other perspective was, well, it's a video game. It's not a real world. It's not sexual assault. And if that's to be considered sexual assault, then well, what is like playing Warzone where you're killing people? Is that murder? So those are kind of like the, and then there's also a lot of like super pro people out there, professional, gamers. I think one of them's called Sonic Fox, I think his name is. Maybe I might be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. But like where he or they, I don't know if it's a guy or a gal, but they like teabag a bunch to like taunt their opponents in game. So it's but anyways, there's controversy around the thing.
Ultimately, it is like definitely has like a sexual connotation to it, and when you go to the Wikipedia, if you just
it's baggage to the mouth, bro.
If you just put in teabagging and go to the Wikipedia page, like it'll have like a section for in video games, but the very first section is about sex, and it has like a almost like cartoon picture of the act like going down, like it blew my mind.
Are you for real? I'm gonna pull it up right now. I want to see
it. It's kind of like almost like a cartoon, like teabagging that's happening, and that was a little surprising, and didn't really know where to go.
It sounds like you're a little scarred with it. Yeah. You didn't know where to go with it. Oh no! Shoot! Look at this.
I feel like I've punched quite a few items on the sexual bucket list, but that's not one I think I've ever really thought about.
Oh, I'm not seeing the little cartoon thing. Let me see here.
There's a Wiktionary page and then there's a Wikipedia, but
even if I don't find it, it's still. Oh, it looks like the picture's just not there. Anyways, no movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely took me back a little bit, like where, because I don't know, when I got that response from ChatGPT, I was kind of like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, exactly.
Just added to them search results that are making your IP address kind of questionable.
Yeah, exactly.
What is this guy looking at me?
It's like, hello, FBI watch list or whatever. Like, no, I don't think it's up to those kind of levels, but it's a little controversial, I think, is the easiest way to say it. Like, and you could make that extension, like that sort of leap that you mentioned earlier, that, yeah, especially as we get into, the fact that we might be playing these games with younger folks. It's borderline of, unethical behavior, I would have to say.
It is, that's for sure. There's competitions and games, I think, where it's prohibited, where players can be banned. I just saw, I was just checking that out. It's I think it is the Killer Instinct tournament or something like that. They may have been one of the competitions that banned it, I think. But anyways, Some venues, to say, are definitely taking a position of no, that is not cool to be teabagging. No bagging. No tactical squatting.
Well, I feel like we're in a pretty good, unique position this morning since it did happen to you this morning. And
yeah.
I want to ask you, like, how did it make you feel when that happened to you?
This particular time, like I mentioned, it kind of just made me feel like, ain't that something? Ain't that something, you know? And in you have such a short amount of time to really think about it, unless you're gonna like wig out on it. You know, you got to keep playing the game, so you're only thinking about it for a few seconds, you know. And in those few seconds, there's only enough time to have that, like, you know, deep wired reaction in our brains, like "Wah!" or whatever. You know, you don't have time to think about, dang, you know, like who is that on the other side?
Yeah.
Is it a little tiny kid, you know, that's like should be out there like build like making ramps and launching off his bike or something like that? Or is it someone around my age, or is it someone, you know, there's only enough time to like have that reaction, that reactionary moment. So I me personally, this morning it was no factor. I just thought it was super funny that we were about to record about this and then it happened to me. But you know, I've had times where it kind of did like kind of cut deep a little bit, you know. I mean, well, you can't cut deep a little bit, you know, where it cut. It's like, oh, you know, like I wanted to get revenge. I wanted to get back at that gamer, whoever that character was or whatever. And this has happened in Warzone and, you know, Battlefield, et cetera, all of those first-person shooters. Even in Ark, probably there's been some times where that's occurred. And then there's also been times, man, where like it didn't even faze me. Again, like no factor. And I think if you were to ask me, well, what is the thing that made it one time like not a big deal versus in other times like a big deal where it kind of got at you, what's the difference? I think the difference was probably like how well I was doing in each case in the round. Like if I'm doing really well and I'm getting a bunch of kills and I'm not dying a bunch and like some dude like happens to get me and then teabags, like I don't care. But like if I'm sucking ass, dude, and then someone really just like pours salt in the wound and just, you know, does that. Yeah, it gets at me like, oh, I'm going to get you. And I'll just continue to suck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a huge factor when, like, how I'm feeling, of whether or not it sort of rolls off of me or not. But I would have to say, you know, I don't remember a specific example, but I definitely remember it happening to me. And it's exactly that. Like I immediately like think like what did I do to provoke this? Sometimes it's incredibly obvious. Like you know, I think we used to do this thing on Rebirth there on Warzone where we would get in that one building and kind of take it over and sort of grief people to begin with. Like
yeah, just like continue to yeah. We'd get to a very superior position where we really, really did have an advantage and could cover all angles.
And weren't we even in like plunder or something like something that's a little more like
yeah, a little bit like
mission oriented than
exactly
just PvP solely. Like so yeah, people are kind of leveling up guns and stuff. Like it's kind of a you know, almost a unspoken agreement that we're not going to really go super hard on each other here, and we were doing just exactly the opposite. You know, we were taking over that building and just griefing the shit out of people. So I could definitely, you know, if after we'd held it for a while,
you're like, I would expect a teabag or two.
Yeah, and you know, and you had you know, kind of just messed their day up a little bit, and they finally got you. Yeah, I can take that one way better than when it's completely unprovoked. And yeah, I typically think it's kind of a kid. Like I'll think like this is sort of a childish thing but you know it's not always. It can't statistically be possible that that's the case, and you wonder that for sure. Yeah,
you're like, damn, there's a fucking 47-year-old man over there teabagging. Well, maybe he's 49. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I think like as I was looking at this, like I found myself like just wondering more and more about that. Like, why do people do this? And I think that begs the question right here, like as far as just sort of looking at, how our experiences with it. Like, do you ever do it to anyone? Like, do you remember the last time that you gave someone a good teabagging?
I've teabagged out of revenge. I've venge-bagged. Yeah. I've vagged. I've vagged.
Venge bag. It's got a bag.
Revenge bagged. Yeah, I've bagged out of revenge, man, and I've bagged out of really just revenge. And I'm not 100% sure. I can't I can't recollect with precision, but I want to just assume that yes, I have teabagged before, just because the odds are, But am I that kind of a player today and since many, many years back? No, I'm not that guy. Not my thing. And I would even go as far as saying I guess I kind of frown upon it. Like I don't, it doesn't do anything for me.
I'm with you there. If I'm highly provoked, if someone is obviously griefing me and, they've killed me multiple times in Rebirth, or they've thrown 67 flashbangs at me at some point, or, just something to the point where I'm just kind of like,
what the fuck?
Yeah. And I get that thing. Like, I think in Warzone, it's typically not only that I'm fighting that person, but I'm fighting multiple other people. There's not a lot of time to stand around teabag, and it usually, like, you've just fired a weapon that
you can pull it off, Chug. You can pull it off.
You can
just run up quick, hit circle real quick, and then you run off. Just quick enough so you're you're out.
Grab that armor and
yeah. Just and you're on your PC, dude. You can bag and you can bag and bail. Yeah, dude. You just freaking. Slides cancel, bag bail, bounce, dude. Slide cancel, bag bail, bounce. You're out. Slide cancel, bag bail, bounce. I'm out.
Yeah, I've got to really been just angered, and now I will say I have this thing when someone makes me feel like a really strong emotion. Like, I like to set forth a course of action that's going to make them feel the way they've made me feel. So, yes, like, if they do it to me first, like, it's game on. I might spend the entire rest of my evening, seeking that revenge and
your pursuit of the venge bagging, dude.
Tasting that, like, how you like that.
Just do a real. It's like, is there any way to slow down this spam circle? I want to do it real slow.
Yeah. I think that's just it. I would want it to appear that I didn't care about the rest of the battle that was going on. That I had all the time in the world. It wouldn't be a slide cancel teabag and get on the move. Like, it would be a slow.
Switch it over to public chat. You started this. You started this, and then turn it back to private chat.
You brought this on yourself. Yeah. So,
You're really savoring that moment. I can see your face. You are a V-bagger, dude. You're a vengeful bagger, dude.
I definitely
That's okay, man. It's okay.
Because
we do these things in video games so that, it's just,
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
I think I'm almost like default, like a little bit too nice at times. You know, I can definitely be just as, you know, much of an asshole as anyone in the world. But like, I think just my general status quo, like I want it to be a fair fight. Like I'm not just gonna, you know, like we talk about cheating a lot, and like I'm just not gonna do that. You know, I want it. I want it to be legit and you know, like a fair fight. Like I'm gonna enjoy that way more than if I, you know, just lucked up and you were AFK or something, or just any number of other things were going on. But yeah, once someone provokes me like that, it's pretty much game on, you know. And
yeah, man.
I like to think I'm pretty. Even then, like you mentioned, as long as you're doing well, and I'm happy with the way I'm performing and where I'm at with my current set of skills and evolution of that, like then it kind of rolls off my back way easier. But when you're getting just sort of abused and yeah.
They were just humans in a video game world, bro.
Yeah. It's amazing how those emotions come. I think it's very important to talk about how it makes you feel, because I think it was Maya Angelou that said, you won't remember like what people said and what people did near as much as you will how they made you feel. And
dang, man.
Yeah. It's very true. I think it might have even been that she said you won't remember at all what they said or did, but you will remember how they made you feel. And I think it's
yeah, that's why you're trying to get in that venge bagging.
Yeah.
I want you to remember this. Public chat on. I want you to remember this. Private chat on. Just kidding. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right, man. 100%.
So
yeah. So you're not so it sounds like we're kind of like on the same page. And I'm sure most folks out there are probably on the same page, man. You know.
I think
they're not down with the bagging, but can't be hold against them if they pop one off every now and then.
I think too, like it's a confidence sort of thing too. Like if I've been playing for a good bit and you know, maybe been playing every night for a little while and got my skills where you know, in a high place for me, I'm more apt to do things like that, because you got to realize, like, once, you know, they might have that same reaction I'm having. Like, once they get it, like, they're like, okay. You know? And I want to be able to take that heat, you know, when they come for me. Like, whatever.
Who is this ChukTomahawk? Yeah. I want revenge. Yeah. Searching you out.
Yeah. Because,
oh, man.
Yeah, it's part of the game, though. It is like fun, like definitely the taunting. I think, like you say, when it goes into like sort of the sexual connotation with it, and you know what you're implying, sort of innuendo wise, there, it does become something a little different, and I think that's one of the reasons it stayed. It's kind of absurd when you think about it. that, you know, like with the limited, you know, controls that we have there, like people figured out a way to push your buttons. You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
no
especially
pun intended.
No bags intended. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because let's rewind real quick. Hypothetically, let's go back before Counter-Strike, before Halo Combat Evolved, and before I think Counter-Strike was obviously before Halo, but what was the other one? There was another one. Quake. Thank you, sir. Before those, all of them. Are there any other games where someone, like, I'm just brainstorming here. Like, is there another game where maybe potentially someone could have like teabagged and like intentionally, like, you know, like just not necessarily in an online multiplayer environment where it would become known, but like even back into the early 90s or even into the late 80s when there were already plenty of console games out there, or even arcade games. Yeah, like arcade, for example. I wonder if there were any games where two kids would be standing there and there was some sort of a mechanic where you could have the character simulate a teabagging type of movement. You know what I mean? Far before Quake and Counter-Strike and so on and so forth. Like, there's got to be a game like that out there, you know?
You know what I'm picturing? I'm picturing you and Rob the
Like,
robot. Like, you know,
like trying to figure this out.
well, remember Rob the robot?
Going back in time?
Gyro game or
Oh, man.
I think to answer your question, yes, it had to happen at some point. Like, you know, I think especially folks when they're first ever playing a video game and trying to get used to the controls and you know, I could see with a buddy, like, you know, over gaming or spending the night on the weekend or something, like, you know, us just laughing about it possibly, but you know that had to happen.
Yeah, like I think it would make complete sense to me for kids. I mean, this could have been me. Hell, I mean, yeah, I could have been this kid and just not remember it right now. But like early 90s in the arcade of like your local Pizza Hut or whatever, you know how they always have a arcade section. You're in there, you're with your buddies, it's somebody's birthday, you're having a bunch of pizza, you're all jacked up on Dr. Pepper or root beer or something. And they've got Street Fighter 2 in there. A game where you can certainly crouch. And you're kicking ass, man, and you leave your buddy over here, little Kenny, whooped his ass, and you know you can just like your little character can go like, hey, I'm teabagging you. Look, I'm teabagging you on the screen, you know, or something like that. That's an example.
Yeah,
and that would be way before Counter-Strike and all that stuff.
True.
I'm sure that had to have happened, you know, and just nobody realized what that would become in the gaming world.
Yeah, because you could just see if you just went and stood over their body and started making a bunch of inappropriate noises and comments, like to your buddy that was right there in 2-player. You know, you could easily be like,
2-player. And
how you like that? Oh, Poppy.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Oh yeah, that could have been me being a total butthead to my friend. You know, they of course they'd always give it back.
Yeah,
but I mean, heck, even in Metal Slug, the character could crouch, you know? So there were plenty of games where potentially kids could have been doing, you know, a variant of the teabagging in earlier games before Counter-Strike and Quake and all that. So that's interesting. I mean, and you know, it's like, dude, this was bound to happen. Teabagging was bound to become a thing. You know?
Well, and too, it was kind of like a vibe almost. Like I feel like in even my favorite game, Battletoads from that era, like you were kind of like snarky comedy mode anyway. Like a lot of the cut scenes and stuff were kind of that kind of vibe. And I feel like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is kind of down that road. You know, it's kind of like, you know, Beavis and Butthead teenage type humor to begin with. So it
would totally be Michelangelo teabagging like Leonardo or something, dude. Michelangelo would be the one to do that.
Yeah.
You
know what I mean? They all kind of have
with his nunchuck is like up and down while spinning them in circles.
I don't know.
Hey, like that, Donatello?
Yeah, that attitude.
Get some.
I feel like a modern day version of that is Deadpool. Like in that Deadpool movie, like I sent you a clip of that.
Yeah, dude. Gosh, did somebody catch that in slow motion?
That one guy says something about teabagging someone to death, which is a whole nother like visualization to have to think. Like, how many baggings would you have to take before it actually killed you?
It's like a Chinese water drop with a nutsack.
It's like, God. It's like,
stop.
Yeah. It's like you can stab someone with a spoon if you care enough. Like,
jeez, dude, damn, Chuck.
So you could possibly teabag someone to death. Like, you know, it would take a while, I would imagine. Like, you'd be a little raw.
Definitely got
morning.
Definitely got to remember to check the explicit box on the description of this episode before loading it up.
Word to that, yeah. That Deadpool trailer, he doesn't like crouch over. He like flies through the air.
Oh yeah, dude, it's an acrobatic bagging. He's got some angle, you know. There's forward thrust.
Yeah, the presence of mind to be flying through the air. Yes,
presence of.
Yes, he leaned right into it. You're exactly
he's really,
right.
yeah, he's really connected with the moment. It's like, there's a right way to do this.
You threatened to teabag me to death. I'm going to show you. Yeah, he definitely
Gosh darn.
leaned into that one for sure.
That was one of the funniest. He really pushed the envelope.
Yeah. What is that? Ryan Reynolds? God, he's funny as all get out anyway. Like I like him.
He is a funny dude, man.
He does these TikTok videos.
He's one of those dudes, like, I don't know if other people experience this, man, or maybe I'm just the weirdo, but like, have you ever like gone and watched a movie and like, it's like you connect with the protagonist so much that you kind of like try to act like that person for a little bit after the movie?
Like quoting the hell out of
like, fuck, man, yeah, he's one of those people that's like, I've kind of gotten that from like I try to like, I get out of the theater, you know, and I'm all trying to be funny, and I just sound like an idiot.
Oh yeah, yeah. He has that effect. Like one of the things that made me realize
just
what
sarcastic,
a great actor,
you know, and kind of a smart ass sarcastic, but totally like lovable and like fuck.
Yeah. What'll blow your mind is like he does these TikTok videos where he stitches another video and he's watching it. He doesn't say a word, but he just like makes faces with his, you know, he'll be like and it just shows you like what a great actor he is. Like, you know, because he'll kind of glance over, like he'll be looking like sort of at that screen, and then he'll look at the screen that he's making the video with, you know, and it just like it says everything. Like, you know, we're
That's
all
funny.
just like, did you just see that? Like, you know?
What in the?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's funny.
something. Yeah, you're doing some good acting when you can kind of like you don't even have to speak to do that. But yeah, I love that video of him, and you know, I guess I wanted to kind of look at the psychology of this, like why do people do this, and you know, I kind of like saw a few different routes that you know, it's sort of like I heard it called like a show of dominance, sort of like, you know, it definitely, because like I touched on earlier, it's kind of like, I don't feel super comfortable doing this unless I'm playing well, because I know that's probably going to bring some heat. Like he's going to, you know, even if like we're playing against a squad of 4, like, you know, he's going to say something to the rest of that crew, and they're all going to be coming for us, you know, after that. And yeah,
I get you.
Yeah, so there's definitely sort of yeah, you want to be in a dominant mode, like you know, where like I'm dominating this, like it's almost like embarrassing to, like if someone that's teabagging that don't really, you know, ain't really got that going on, like they just got lucky or whatever and got a kill right here. It's a different.
Well, yeah. What you mentioned right there's interesting, because like, and I think it's like almost like we want to automatically assume that person that just did it is not good, even like they could be actually like a really, really good player, but you get teabagged, man, and the automatic reaction is, at least for me, is I got to get back at that guy. He probably sucks.
Yeah.
But they could be actually like super good. You it's like, doesn't matter. Your brain's automatically going to like, that guy got lucky. I shouldn't, you know, because you might be like in a bad spot too or something.
It's like when you sort of start looking at the psychology of it, it sort of speaks to some lacking that they must feel in themselves, like somehow, like to be able to do this. Because, you know, it almost seems like our mindset is more like, you know, we're only going to do this if we're provoked. And when they do it unprovoked, it's sort of like, what is going on inside your head over there? Like,
yeah, no, man. I personally don't ever give it that much thought. But I do know that, again, from like researching this a little bit online, there are a lot of players that do it to get into the other person's mind. They do it to, it's like, think of Conor McGregor, dude, or Floyd Mayweather. Those guys, how they, you know, they do their they're taunting online and in social media, or when they're live on the air, or when they're, all in the interviews, they're always like a little bit of shit talking, a little bit of taunting, a little bit of I'll whoop him, I'll whoop so on and so forth. Same thing, man. It's just like in game, a little teabagging gets in the mindset of the other player and makes them misstep, makes them miss a shot, makes them peak too soon, makes them hit the corner too soon, makes them stand up, whatever. So
dead on. I mean, because
when it comes to psychology, this definitely falls into that.
And boy, does it work on me. Like I just described what I do. It's like I'm looking to get revenge. I said, like, I don't do this normally.
They draw you out.
But
They're kicking you out.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm seeking this out. Like, and yeah, you're exactly right. It definitely works on me. And it's a form of like a head game, like a mind game of sorts.
Yeah, they're getting under your skin. They're drawing you out. That's like some freaking, yeah, dude, that's like some deep shit right there. You gotta, don't let them use it against you. Those are like rules of engagement type things. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a book on this shit.
Yeah.
The Art of War and all that.
Yeah.
Like, they beat you before you even pulled the shot.
Yeah, because I think there's two angles like of this dominance here. It's kind of like just in the game in general. It's like, I'm better at this game than you. But then I also saw it like sort of looked at from a territorial sense, which almost makes a little more sense to me. Like especially like I know that like I described what we used to do there in Rebirth, where we would take that building over, and it was kind of like that was our building. Like whenever we would maybe like they would get us and we would be parachuting back in, we say to each other, they're in our building, like like it's our building, like, and it's like, what? Because
were you teabagging dudes as soon as we got back in there? Is that what you were doing when I couldn't find you? Like, Chuck, where are you? You're not in your spot. Hold on.
Sure, I feel like
all right, I'm coming up.
Yeah, it took me a minute to get in the groove of what was going on. Like I think you and Pepe Tortilla maybe invented that mindset in there, and like it took me a minute. I was always trying to catch up with that, so yeah, I wasn't so much in teabag mode. I was just trying to be an asset rather than a liability to the squad. I think more.
Everyone was an asset in that building, dude. It was just a really convenient spot where if you had a full squad, everyone could cover a window or a door. And it was very central, so it was always getting traffic, and we just, everyone would be getting kills there.
We were mining,
and like
the shit
as long
out
as
of all those doors.
mining the shit out of the doors, and as long as you just kind of keep your spot, mind your spot, and not fall asleep when you're on the patrol, as they say, we'd be good. And obviously it's not that simple. They can throw grenades in through the windows, and shit happens, and. They'd gain the spot and we'd have to get it back. But for the most part, we were really dominating that building, and we were dominating it teabag free.
True, but you see,
no teabags were dealt from our squad.
The territorial sense, like for sure,
yeah.
like when people would come at that building, like we took it personal, like it's our spot, and this is what we're here to do, and I think at times we would say like, man, it's pretty hot over there at the building today. Like they're on to us. Like
might take a little bit to clear that out.
Yeah, because I know, like I kind of get in one of those.
Might want to get our load out first.
Yeah, you get in like a death spiral of sorts, like where you're being sucked in, and I would parachute in and be killed immediately. Just
you're just kind of falling for your own stubbornness to have that spot. At any cost, even if like you completely just fail the whole session.
Yeah. So I could see that from almost like a dog like peeing on the corner of the yard there, where it's like you cross this line and like it's teabag time, partner. Like
what? What?
Yeah, just psychology of teabag. Like I say, just asking that question, like why and do people do this? And I agree with you. It doesn't like normally when we're playing the game, we don't think this far into it, but we're doing a podcast on it, and like it's one of those angles. Like another one that comes up is like I know like it seems like psychology these days is going a little bit away from Sigmund Freud. Like maybe there's some popular opinions that disprove, but he tended to always kind of relate things back to sex. And I think he also talked about sort of, we have like a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And he would say that he I think would focus on the sexual act of it for sure. You know, I think it would be no surprise to him that, you know, the way we chose to taunt each other had a sexual sort of thing to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I see where you're getting at, man.
That's interesting.
Oh my God, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Like,
even when you see somebody celebrating, like it's like, oh, you know, you're kind of, you know, pelvic thrusts are part of.
Yeah. Or like, dude, we see it in popular sports all the time with the slap, you know.
Yeah.
on the cheeks. Hey, good work, man. Hey, whoa, okay. Yeah, good work to you too. There.
Think about that. I always think of.
Sorry, got a little excited over here. Now I'm just slapping my hands for
Ray
no reason.
Lewis, like when Ray Lewis would do his thing, you know, right there at the end of it, it has that big, like, you know, kind of thing, like it.
Yeah,
it definitely is part of it. Like there's there's something sort of visceral, you know, just. It's kind of like a dog humping another dog or something. It's like it's sort of a show of dominance, you know?
Yeah. No, I get you, man.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I told you I've never had like a spontaneous thrust into the air. Just kidding.
Pelvic thrust. Little white boy dancing going on.
Just a little, like, man, I knew this episode was going to get creepy.
We're doing good. We're doing great. We're doing great.
Right. Like onward?
Completely. Exactly. Let's talk. Speaking of that etiquette, like let's talk about the etiquette of it, because there are, you know, as I've kind of touched on throughout the whole discussion, like I feel like there are times when it's appropriate. You know, maybe like say like I was kind of griefing the person to begin with, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair. You know, like you got me or whatever.
I don't know.
But then there are other times I don't feel like it's justified. Like when do you think it is appropriate to do it?
I think the very technical answer is never.
Never, yeah.
It's never appropriate. Even if like you attach circumstances to it and you know, preliminaries or antecedents or whatever, you know, like what's the way to put this? You know, the right path to take is to just game on. Yeah. The high road, that's it. Thanks, Chuck. That's the word I was looking for. The high road is just to game on.
Yeah.
You know? Like in the remember Wayne's World? When Wayne and Garth, they were playing hockey out in the street. Car. Game on! Yeah. Car! And then the car, you know, they're waving, and then they, all right, game on! Yeah, exactly. So,
you know, when I think would be a funny time to do it is like sometimes, you know, like I've mentioned before, like you can kind of get pretty intense in Warzone, and like you're kind of coaching me and shit, and if like you're being serious, and if I was just kind of getting up against you, I never
get intense.
Look at you, Jose, you sexy baby. That's what I'm imagining. You know, like I'm just doing it to you, like we're on the same team.
Dang, man.
That would have a whole nother effect, I think. Like, you know, like, be quiet, listen, comms. You know, I'm over there, oh, you sexy bitch, look at you.
You're going up the staircase. Yeah. All right, I'm done. Yeah. No.
You're like, Chuck, get in position.
The other position. Dang it. Yeah. No, we'd be smoked by the time that all took place.
I know. Yeah. That's like, it's like when I see someone serious, I have to go there. But yeah, I think, yeah, the answer to that is there are no appropriate times. But let's just say you are going to do it, and you know, you mentioned earlier, like
it'd be avenge bagging.
It is avenge bagging, okay. Like so do you feel like there's sort of some rules around like how long you do it and you know, like where you position yourself or anything like that? Like Are there flavors of teabagging?
Yeah, I like that's a good question. And if I was gonna just start by saying a real dry answer, like as long as you get the bagging in, you're good. But I can give you more than that. If I were to bag, and again, this would be avenged bagging. It's the only bagging I'm going to do. I'm not going to teabag someone just for the hell of it. But if I were to teabag an opponent, I would like to do. Obviously they can see me. That's the main thing. They have to see this. You want them to be able to see what's happening to their dead body there in the game. Is just stand above them, prep, get real nice, get as centered as you can and as fast as you can. This all takes place very quickly, and just one nice singular, done.
Yeah.
Just a nice, crisp, clean, singular teabag. You're in and out, and then you just hover above them. Just hover. Just stay there. Hover until the camera goes, and they start the round over.
Dude, like as you were describing that, as I'm visualizing it, I don't think I would have that same thought. Like this is a kid just out of control. Like I like how you add like an element of control.
Wait, there wasn't any kids in my visualization.
Yeah, no, and it's like you're kind of like, I did this not in anger. Like,
Oh yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
It's a very yoga-centric teabagging.
Yeah, it's a
descend, ascend, hover, game on.
Yeah, as if you were like attending a serious thing, like nothing just rapidly out of control, just humping away like a rabbit or something. Like
it's like they say in jiu-jitsu, dude. Control, technique. You just gotta, don't use your strength. Don't use explosive. You don't want to. I mean, you don't want to be explosive and just You just want to be nice, concise, precision. Descend, ascend, hover. Game on. Control and technique with the teabagging.
I like your style. I know for me, it's got to. I've got to get at least 3 in there. Like when I make a glass of tea, I usually like sometimes I'll just flop her in there and put it in the microwave or whatever. But like when I'm really savoring it, like I give it a good dipping, like when I first start, and then maybe when I'm getting ready to take it out, I'll maybe give it and kind of shake it a little bit, get that extra moisture out of the bag so it doesn't drip in the floors.
Do you ever pinch the bag a little bit to get the extra liquids out?
Ooh, I do. I've got this technique where I roll it, like I take the string and I roll it on a spoon, and
you lasso it.
The string to kind of like cinch it down a little bit there.
Yeah, you use the string against it.
Yeah, yep. Get up again it, and again it.
Yep.
Yeah. So if I'm coming over to teabag you, I'm gonna.
I just imagine saying that to someone while performing a teabagging, just to get on their nerves, like in public chat. I'm getting up in it and again it.
You like that?
Forward motion.
Yeah. You feel that growl.
So
yeah. No, I'm at least 3 pumps. I feel like somewhere around 5 or 6 it gets to be too many. It's like egregious, where it's going to further the anger that it causes in me. But,
and let's be realistic. This is happening probably in Warzone or in a game like that, where the person that's watching you after you killed them, they're only going to see you for a split, second, 2 seconds, maybe 3.
Yeah, kill cam short.
Yeah, and on your end, you're exposing yourself by not moving on, getting cover, following your team. You're taking a couple of seconds that otherwise you wouldn't be using to, venge bag or teabag proper. You got to be mindful of that too. So you don't want to spend too much time there to get 6 or at least 3, potentially 4 or 5 ascensions and dissensions. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we've covered the etiquette of it pretty well. Do you feel like there's any other like unspoken rules around it? Like, do I have to give you a chance to get some revenge or anything like that maybe? Or
no, I would just, don't teabag.
Take your bag and move on.
Well, that's my position. I'm not into the teabagging, but I don't have anything against anyone that teabags. It doesn't faze me like that,
Yeah.
And then like let's like thinking of like the younger gamers out there. I mean, dude, they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. Nothing that ChukTomahawk or Ovox can say. It's gonna be like, no more. You shouldn't be teabagging, young man.
Yeah.
Stop teabagging.
Well, so okay. I feel like at this point I'd kind of like to look at this in pop culture, and I sort of have a chicken and egg question here for you. Like, do you think it originated in gaming and then made it into pop culture, or the sexual act existed and made it into gaming, and like when we see it in a movie and stuff, it's not so much video game related as it is kind of like a
no, I like
pelvic thrust type thing.
This is a great way to wrap up the episode on this pop culture sidebar here. That's a dang good question, man. You know what? I think that it originated, of course, as a sexual act. Probably, like, I don't know if you remembered, man, but like I certainly remember when I was back in my elementary days. We're talking, what would that be? The mid and late 90s. The playground talk would include all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of that age there, especially back then when there were no cell phones and, all you could do is just let the imagination run wild with whatever your friends would bring to the play yard any given new day. So things like teabagging would certainly pop up every now and again. So I think teabagging originated as a sexual act of sorts, and evolved into gaming. Now on the movies and all that and so on and so forth, I don't know, and I really don't think there's relation except in the fact that it's regarding teabagging as a sexual act. But I don't see any relation really from like the pop culture appearances, like you mentioned Deadpool 2. I think there's things in The Office, and you also put in the outline 40-Year-Old Virgin, where stuff like little appearances of this whole concept, but I don't see any relation to the gaming side.
I feel like it's probably multiple causes where we got to this place. I feel like it probably did exist as a sexual act, and I think as long as I remember being alive, like even when we were like you're talking about that grade school, playground type attitude or whatever, we were always
banter.
Like, yeah, we were like these nuts, like we're constantly like some sort of like. Yeah, like
just kids talking about nasty shit, man.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It was some kind,
little fucking dirty boys that just sit on the playground in the freaking 90s and stuff. And in your case, what the 80s or 70s?
80s, yeah. Yeah, so
70s. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to put you back that far.
No, I was in grade school in the 70s.
Ovox, you prick. About to venge bag you over there.
But yeah, let's just say 80s. But
late 80s.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's kind of maybe it existed and it was always sort of that way, and then it was just another thing that got added to it that got popularized by video games and maybe, you know, made it more into pop culture. But yeah, I kind of remember that scene from the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I know like Terrell Owens, like at some point teabagged a football in a game and got in trouble for that. You know, it yeah.
I think anywhere teabagging is like, you know, manifested in any given way that isn't in the video game world is going to be really frowned upon. Negative. And the way like some gaming competitions have like are banning it because that's high level competition where money's involved and there's sponsors, there's people that care and have opinions and so on and so forth. And then like you mentioned here, Terrell Owens, other scenarios, you know, in the gaming world, you're not going to, you know, no one knows who you are, so on and so forth, unless you're like streaming or something. It's just not, it's not a factor. You know, you're not going to like get in trouble. Like whoever teabagged me this morning probably didn't get in trouble. You know? And I'm not going to go and like report them. Like, you know, whatever, say la vie, no factor. I didn't even remember until like, you know, I wanted to bring it up here.
Right.
But yeah. Well, man, it's been a solid episode. I don't know if you want to throw any final comments in on teabagging.
I feel like we're in a pretty good place. I think the consensus at the end of the day, like, just don't do it. Like go keep it classy. And
yeah, there we go. That's the perfect way to kind of wrap it up as a conclusion. Because I feel the same way, man. Just keep it classy out there, gamers. You know, if you need to get avenge bagging in, fucking, you know, knock your socks off. I feel you. I've been there, and I'll probably do it too a couple of more times here and there. But you know, at large though, yeah, just keep it classy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all
awesome.
I got.
Sweet, man. This has been a fun one. Lots of laughs. And we really thank all of you out there for tuning in for this 23rd installment of New Wave Gaming. We're out there on all of the platforms if you want to reach out to us and connect. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're on Reddit. We're going to leave all the information down in the notes and description of the episode. Show us some love. Share the podcast. And if you want to leave us a review, that would be super helpful. I think it helps the algorithm. I don't know what helps the algorithm anymore these days, man. They're changing things all the time. But we'd appreciate it. And if you do leave a review and a rating there, we'll shout you out here on the podcast. And well, we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Yeah, everybody have a good couple weeks, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks, ChukTomahawk. And thanks, everyone.